Welcome back to Spa. The next race on this historic track is the TVR Tuscan Challenge. Ian Flux, the man on pole. Neville and David are men in the commentary box.
Thanks, Jeff. This is a race we're really looking forward to. Newport Pagnell driver Ian Flux lines up on pole position. Now that he's got one of the new AJP8 engines powering his car, he's right on the pace. Alongside him, though, is the man to beat in TVR racing this year, John Kent, the Preston Rest homeowner, who's been all but invincible. You can see, though, how much quicker Flux was in qualifying.
To be fair, practice was held in the wet. Flux, with all that experience, advised the other drivers, in fact, a little bit about this circuit, which can be very difficult indeed. We're aboard Gavin Cooper. They're away.
The lights go green. Good start by Cooper, already picking up places.
That was a coming together, and I'm quite sure that as a result of that, we're going to get at least one retirement. It's Bob Sands with all the damage on his car. I'm not quite sure who he hit the back of, though.
Now, the next question is, how greatly will that affect Bob Sands?
Well, I'm quite certain that what will happen is that the bonnet will come up with the sort of speeds that you do here, and that will be a retirement in short order.
So, John Kent it is in the lead. Ian Flux second as they file through for the first time. Steve Cole up to third. Martin Short fourth. We've got Nick Cresswell further back in the dark blue car, and his rear bodywork is flapping, so it looks as though Sands hit Cresswell. This is Cresswell's car. The view from the front shows that he's right up behind Short, but those behind will see flapping, badly damaged bodywork at the rear. Rod Gretton up there ahead of Short, going well here.
And Rob Gretton comes out of there and he slows. There was a dab on the brakes there from Short, who avoided him, and definitely Gretton has a problem.
So Cresswell up one further place as well. Now let's see what happened at the start. Nick Cresswell very slow away, and bang, right into the rear of him goes Bob Sands. So two damaged cars even before they get to the first corner, and we've got a new leader. Fluxy leads at the bus stop.
Flux leads, dropping back a little bit there. Kent, who doesn't seem to be very happy. Short behind him, and definitely the man to watch now has to be Steve Cole.
Steve Cole in second place, but look at the pressure behind him. John Kent and Martin Short side by side. Kent's on the inside, Short on the outside. Who's going to make it through the corner first? Short round the outside of Kent, but he's going far, far too wide. Kent fights back, side by side as they run down the hill. Oh dear, that's Bob Sands in trouble. The bodywork has flapped up, it's obscuring his view. He's almost wearing a bonnet.
Well, he needs a new frock to go with it. Half a car, certainly. This man doesn't. Ian Flux in the lead. Huge lead too. Really showing the class here as he pulls away from Short, who has driven extremely well, but is getting dropped.
So too is Steve Cole. He was second a while ago. Now Cole has dropped to fourth. He's being caught by this man, Nick Cresswell. We're on board with Cresswell now. He swings through. The right-hander drops down the hill, and Steve Cole, his next target.
I think Cole had a moment. That's what lost him so much ground. And he's had another moment. He's off into the barrier. An enormous impact there for Steve Cole, but safely out of the way of other cars. And I'm quite sure Steve will step out of that, but I think he'll need a new motor.
John Reed goes through in number 12, TVR's development engineer, the man who engineers the majority of the Tuscans in this race. Matt Doman gets the back of the car sideways, he's lost it. He's heading for the gravel. A very neat spin, he's able to continue. Pride damage, but nothing else.
Well, he got the brakes on at the right time, which saved a bigger disaster than it would otherwise have been. And here is Short, trying to close the gap at the moment on Flux, and Flux has not got away at the same pace that he was getting away. I wonder if all's well there.
Yeah, Martin Short really charging now, so too this man. Nick Cresswell, the man from Moneystone, desperate to close on cars ahead. Into the bus stop, braking as late as he possibly can. That looks like Colin Blower ahead of him. It is number 5, Colin Blower, the Hinckley garage owner, and Rod Gretton there, the other Leicestershire man in the field, also latching onto the tail of Cresswell.
Gretton going well, but this is the battle to keep an eye to. There's that little left-hand kink I've been babbling about there. We saw it properly as the cars come out there, and you can realise that they're out of balance when they have to brake here for the hairpin. Whoops! That's what happens when you're out of balance. Rod Gretton spins it, collects it back together again.
He stalled the engine, he looks down, he's trying to get the car fired up again, and here are the leaders. Ian Flux in the yellow-fronted car must have a problem because Martin Short, as if from nowhere, pounces. He goes through into the lead, and Short immediately starts to pull away a little.
He rocketed by him there, in fact, and going through the corners, certainly Ian Flux trying to stay with him, but I think he lacks top-end power. Probably some sort of fuel starvation of something of that sort, because it's going all right, certainly round corners, but it's high res it hasn't got.
Simon Toyne, he's on the outside of John Reed. Tries to take the tighter exit from Nassau's hairpin. He's right there behind Reed now. The man from Blackpool up front, Simon Toyne alongside him now as they drop down the hill, past the pits.
Absolutely side by side, these two, but Toyne's going to make it, I think.
He surges through on the inside, takes a bit of the curb there, but up one further place goes Simon Toyne. John Reed drops back, but what are the leaders doing? Short still, he's up front. but he has now got Ian Flux right behind him. Flux does not want to give up if he can avoid it. Short still in the lead then. Ian Flux shadowing his every move, and here's Nick Cresswell still trying to close on Blower.
Yes, came out of there a little bit unsteady. You're watching him tries to close that gap though. And Blower in front, always careful. Goes better towards the end of a race than ever he does at the start. I don't know why.
He knows how to preserve the tyres and the brakes. Nick Cresswell, though, on the limit. You can see him twitching the wheel one way and then the other.
Here is Shaw, right behind him, Flux. And this time the lead hasn't swelled out, so I would assume that Flux's car has recovered somewhat from whatever was affecting it.
But I wonder whether he's running out of time. We're getting towards the end of this race. Martin Short still has the lead. This could be Flux's last chance on the inside. He's not really close enough. Both of them, they're sliding under braking. The tyres are going off. The brakes are getting weary. The back of the car steps out. Short plants his foot on the throttle. He surges now down the hill. He's heading to the line as we go on board with Gavin Cooper. He's heading to the bus stop.
Gavin Cooper into the bus stop, over that curve very hard indeed, bounces into the air, clips the front wing on a tyre bollard, and that's a spin, and effectively his chances are over for the day. Collects it back together again, but that's going to cost him dear.
2 places lost. Rod Gretton has gone past him, and so too has number 77 there. That is John Williams, going very well in what must be his first Tuscan outing, and oh dear, you can see the damage to Cooper's car.
So Cooper then, with the price of a new bonnet certainly on his mind, and hopefully nothing else underneath, though I can see some electricals are dangling.
That sounds rather painful. Here is Gretton. He's diving through Eau Rouge, pulling away from Williams.
Let's have a look back and see what happened to Cooper. Coming into the corner, he apexes it wrongly, hits this curb. That bounces him up in the air, and he collects the tyre barrier, and that's what does the damage.
Nowhere to go except into the tyres. It's wrong from then on in. Round goes the car. Now, we're on board with Simon Toyne. Behind him is Martin Stewart. Stewart, as ever, being a real force to be reckoned with here. And there's Bob Sands. He's a lap behind. He's been in the pits. He's had the bodywork taped up. And Martin Short still leads at the bus stop.
Short, I think, has definitely got this race in the bag, providing he doesn't throw it at the scenery. He has left Flux miles behind.
Flux must have a problem. He doesn't normally lose that amount of time to anybody. But Martin Short looks as though he's going to win in the TVR Tuscan Challenge for the first time. He accelerates towards the checkered flag, and victory at the historic Spa circuit goes to Martin Short with Ian Flux second.
The top 6 then, Martin Short the winner, from Flux, John Kent in 3rd place, somewhat restrained, Colin Blower, Cresswell and Gretton.
A good result then as far as Martin Short is concerned, but it's still Kent who leads the championship. Blower second, Short's now 3rd with a non-scoring Cole 4th.
It was a distinct advantage for both me and Ian Flux because me more than anybody, I've been here, this is my 4th year, I've had 4 or 5 pole positions, 3 or 4 wins, I can't remember now. So I know the circuit very, very well, better than anybody here. Unfortunately, it rained and rained and rained, and nobody got to know what the track was like in the dry, really. And it played into my hands, and I was very fortunate because it took me a long time to get past everybody. There was a bit of aggressive driving going on. I got past, and once I got going, I was starting to catch Ian, but his 5th gear went, fortunately for me, and I caught him, and I'm the winner. So, but I've just been told the diffs broke, so I think we just made it by the skin of our teeth.
Super race as ever from the TVRs. We know how much you enjoy that.